Alright, welcome. Harry had the audacity to do a overclock tier list without me, and I'm not going to take that sitting down. So here I am with my overclock tier list, with none of Harry's wrong, impulsive choices getting in the way of my 100% factual takes. Um, and just in case you need this warning, this is not the most serious video in the world. I agree with 100% of what I'm going to do. That doesn't mean it's anywhere close to right. Uh, I'm level 600, so while I have played the game, I am not one of those people. You know who they are, the 2000s or 1500s, e.g. Harry, who knows every overclock off by heart. Luckily, I have found one with names on it, and it's in order, and I know enough to know what each weapon is. And we're just going to be going through this. Any background noise you hear will be my cats. They are called Echo and Ripley, and they are annoying. So, I think best place to start. I want to keep this brief, because when you don't have much to say intellectually, then you might as well be quick about it. Although we do start with Driller, and we do start with the Flamethrower, with larger tanks. And honestly, I think the best Flamethrower you can do is just have good ammo, and you'll be alright. I think the Flamethrower just holds up. So I think this is probably, I would put it here, honestly. It's the second best thing I put on the Flamethrower. Genuinely, like, basically exactly what I would need, but there's one that's slightly more preferable for me. Sticky additive, I see no reason to use that at all. And I think that this is where it goes, because sticky additive technically isn't bad, but like, why would you use it? I don't get it. If you want sticky flames, use sticky fuel. That's how I see it, and that's how it's going to be here. But yeah, technically it's fine, but there's never really a good reason to use it. That's how I see it, at least. Compact feed valves is my preferred thing. This is my Flamethrower. I just, bigger magazines keeps that reloading to a minimum, which screws me over way more often than I'd like. Yeah, I don't know. Having a Flamethrower that reloads just seems to screw me over. But this keeps that to a minimum, plus extra ammo. Job done, really. I don't really care about the downside. I think it's less range, but it's not that big a deal on a weapon with already pretty bad range. Well, not bad range, but limited range. Which, speaking of, you can make it better, which I think I am going to keep it in the mid. Fuel stream diffuser is solid, but ultimately it's not what I want. I don't need more range in the Flamethrower, only in one situation, against rivals. Like flying against the, rapidly traversing patrol bots, I do not mind some extra range on the Flamethrower, and so that's what this is for, what I have it for, at least. So it's fine, but yeah. Tell you what isn't fine, Face Melter. Although, I would say I prefer it more than Harry does. Like, it does kill grunts, like, instantly. Like, it tears swarms apart, like, then and there. The issue is that's not that great of a thing to be doing, or, like, you don't need to. Like, these things still tear swarms apart, it just takes slightly more time. And so, I don't know, and it doesn't help against big targets. Like, that's what I would want from a damage Flamethrower. Something that, like, if you want to, it will just tear a Praetorian apart. Because, I mean, the Cryo's got it, the Sludge Pump kind of has it, or it does have it, and the Flamethrower doesn't. And I think that's what Face Melter should aspire to be. Or, a new Overclock would do that. And then last, we've got Sticky Fuel, and I can't put it in the suboptimal nerd face emoji, because it's clearly, like, the best thing for it, technically. I cannot stand the playstyle, though. which will be a theme. I do not like shooting the floor instead of the enemy as like a play style. So sticky fuel, the mid, as far as I'm concerned. Would have been nice if I could put it in that one, because that would have been like a line, but that's just not how the cookie crumbled. Alright. Cryo cannon, obviously, is next. And genuinely, it might be the shit. It probably is the shit. Yeah, it's the shit. I fucking love this thing. Like, it's just... Put this on. Put on tier 1, the first upgrade. Like, it slows or increases the time you can shoot. And then basically do whatever you want. Probably ammo and, like, freeze and area radius freeze, whatever that's called. And you basically got the cryo cannon. Like, that is peak cryo cannon. You can freeze literally anything. Like, with this, and with the tier 1 mod, even just with the tier 1 mod, in all fairness, you can, like, freeze a dreadnought, like, 3 times before running out of, like, steam or pressure, is it what it actually is. And I think that is honestly more valuable than, like, this. Like, although, in saying that, if you just use the tier 1 upgrade, instead of the, like, the tier 1, like, this icon, instead of the tier 1 this icon, this becomes essentially as good as this, with extra freezing power, but it's slightly less unlimited in its shooting time. Like, it is still, like, very good, as long as you don't really bother doubling down on the cryo, which is what I normally did, and I did enjoy it, but I realised really with the cryo cannon, the longer you can shoot for, the better the cryo cannon is, which I think is something I'm going to repeat as I put this one on. The longer you can shoot it for, the better the cryo cannon is. Flow rate expansion fucking obliterates that time. You can shoot it for like 2 seconds at best. Like, it is terrible, and it just pisses through your fucking ammo. Like, I don't know what they were going through their head when they did this, but it is bad, rough. The grass being a leaf lover thing, I just wanted to rhyme with the arse. But yeah, this is the worst tier. Like, now I would say, like, because obviously Harry's one and the one he was referring to have, like, worse than base as the bottom one, but I'm never using anything at base, so I don't give a shit about the base. I don't give a fuck about the gun without an overclock, because I'm never not going to have an overclock on it. But I know for sure if it's got either of these 2 overclocks on it, I don't give a rat's ass about it at all. It's going to be a miserable experience, or just a generally unpleasant one, boring one, any of those words. Ice Spear, though, I'm going to put in the mid. Ice Spear is... Well, obviously this is a version of Face Melter I mentioned. Like, it is a primary option to delete Praetorians, which is not nothing. The axes make it nothing. That's why the axes are so picked. But if you don't want to pick axes, Ice Spear is here. And obviously the cryo is still fine even on its own. Like, it doesn't make the cryo inherently worse. You don't get these buffs to it, but otherwise the cryo is still in a solid place to just freeze things normally. So it's not a detriment, and it gives you that ability. You know what? No, I'm leaving it there. I am leaving it there. It probably deserves higher, but I don't really care for it. The same can be said with this one. This is pretty funny, because I've been reading Harry's comments on his video, and a lot of people aren't happy how low you put Ice Storm. And to that I say, fuck you. I completely agree. Ice Storm is terrible. Like, as mentioned, like, if you want to kill things with a cryo cannon, this is kind of your best bet. Like, it's fine. It's solid. Like, I think I see the arguments. The argument is essentially that, like, the cryo cannon relies on other weapons to finish things off, like the grunt type enemies. Like, you would switch out to the drills, the axes, the wave cooker, EPC, or even Sabata, God forbid you, like, or God forgive you, I think is probably more accurate. But I mean, tough. Like, I think generally that's not that big a deal. It's just the cryo cannon, and I guess if you don't like that, Ice Storm is your solution, which I think is fair. You should have solutions to things you don't like about the gun, but ultimately, me and Harry both agree, and I think so did Waste and Lazy Maybe. I think on that video that Harry kept talking about, so I'm keeping that to a minimum. The Ice Storm is just unnecessary if you appreciate what the cryo cannon is at face value. Just freeze enemies, then do something else to them. This defies that and makes it really. It just makes it worse at everything else as well. Though you have like no ammo and you run out so quickly, it's just not great. Which I would say the same thing for Snowball, but it's probably not the suboptimal. At least we have it filled out now. Snowball is fine. The buff they did to it recently was good. Like, it made it a lot more pleasant to use. Like, it didn't feel like a real fucking pain in the ass. Didn't make it inherently better. I mean, it kind of did, but more like quality of life than making it stronger. And so, yeah, Snowball. It's an alternate way of freezing. If you get bored of the cryo cannon, it's an option. But you still want to use the cryo cannon, it's an option. But otherwise, I don't give a rat's shit about Snowball. Now, the Sludge Pump, which, in case you are not aware, is, the best of the three. And to start it off, I think this just makes the effect stronger, which doesn't hurt. I think I'll just leave it in suboptimal. I mean, it's a clean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to do that much. It's not going to screw you over that much. I think I have it on my rival killing build because the status effect of corrosion solid against rifles make that even stronger. I just have to hit them once and it does the rest for me. So I can live with that. So it's solid. It is solid. Maybe not suboptimal then, but that's just the way the ranking goes. This one, I don't give a fucking rat's ass about it. AG mixture, it's like Ice Storm. It's like, if you want the Sludge Pump to be something that it isn't, use it and it will become like a ranged weapon, which doesn't hurt. But I don't give a shit about ranged weapon. I've got like secondaries for that. So for now, it's just gonna be there. All right, volatile impact mixture. I'm pretty sure this is the direct damage one. Last I recall, and it is fine. Probably the mid. I don't like it doing that. There is a good build for it, obviously. I think using the blisters and then this is pretty fucking strong. Probably the best shout that Driller has as far as killing dreadnoughts just smother it in blisters, charge shot, and you'll just tear its health in half. It's pretty solid, and obviously this is the thing you do with it. So that boosts it up, but it's not really what I want from the goo gun. So it's in there. I tell you what I do want from the goo gun though. Boom, love disperser compound, love it. There's just no better feeling than smothering an entire area in sludge, and then likely shooting it with an EPC and setting it all on fire. Either that or like wave cooker, neurotoxin, radiation thing. Either or, amazing. Or even now with the like explosive reaction if corroded or some bollocks. I think that's what it was. I haven't actually used it as much as I want to, but with the Sabata, like, there's actually a really fun build with all of them, and I think disperser compound like complements them all the best because it just gets the most corrosion out there and in the biggest area and the most, and it's just, I love it. It's the thing I used basically as soon as the Sludge Pump was kind of an option, and I've never really stopped using it, and it's just made me love the Sludge Pump even more. And yeah, it's just hell yeah, disperser compound. Goo Bomber Special is definitely the definition of suboptimal, I think. It is not great. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I like unstables like Goo Bomber Special. And if you like Goo Bomber Special, then I assume Goo Bomber Special will be up there. But that's the risk they take with overclocks like this, right? You need to like the change of of gameplay that weapon then like becomes, or you won't like it. And I'm not a huge fan. Basically making it goddamn useless in small tunnels, and having the big main glop like just worthless if it touches a wall slightly earlier is not a great feeling. But otherwise, it's kind of fun. If you're in a big open room and you literally just shoot forward and then like move to your side and shoot forward and then like move to the side and shoot forward, and you can literally just cover a gigantic area with like perfectly laid like seeds of corrosion, then you would probably light them on fire, and it feels pretty good, it looks pretty good, and lasts a while. I think that was a benefit of it. It boosts the time a lot, but ultimately not my cup of tea. But I would respect you if it's yours, which is not something Harry says for Sludge Pump, because he thinks it's terrible, and I quite like it. I wouldn't actually put it this high up. I'd probably put it here, same as Impact Volatile Mixture, because it is essentially the same thing. It's like, oh, I'm taking this damage over time AoE thing, and I'm using it to do direct damage and kill things. And I think they essentially do about as good a job as each other. Like Sludge Past fucking tears things to pieces once it gets its hand on them, right? And it's very satisfying. I really like it, but it does kind of nerf the whole placing it down, but also not really. It just makes it into a weird little like impact zone instead of like puddles in an area. But Harry shits on Sludge Blast, completely unwarranted. I think it is fairly solid. And I think only really the devs buffing it or nerfing it would prove either of us right. I think it's a matter of taste, like Goo Bomber Special, and it suits my taste more. And that was the Driller Primaries, which realistically is the thing I am most equipped to talk about, because Driller's the only thing I've got legendary. I've got it like legendary again, probably, with the amount of times I played him, but yeah, the only one I've got legendary. Although the Sabata is a bit of a sad face emoji, I would say. Chain hit, never using chain hit. I don't want to elaborate further. Anyone that uses chain hit should just stop playing the game, go home, get some rest. Homebrew powder, slightly more preferable. I think generally the trend will be the Sabata probably won't make it much higher than this on average, because I think it's just a very suboptimal weapon. But the homebrew powder is not the worst thing you can do with it, but it's just bad, and so a not great thing on a bad weapon is not great overall. Oversized magazines. I think there was a part of me that thought I would like oversized magazines, but it's terrible. Like it's really bad. I never get through all the ammo in a million years, and all the ammo does like nothing, and it feels horrible. No, bad, probably bad me as well. I won't deny there's a bit of skill diff with the hit scan weapon and me missing, but I don't know, oversized magazine, it's too oversized. I can never get through it all, which I guess isn't an issue with automatic fire. Like, I get through it probably even a bit too quick. I think I guess it's going high. It's mid. It's like, it changes the Sabata into a different weapon which doesn't hurt, but it ain't great still. It's like preferable, but it's just making the best out of a bad situation. It's fine. It doesn't hurt anyone, Harry. I tell you what does hurt people, or Glyphids, explosive reload. Was the best thing the Sabata ever had before the rework, is still the best thing the Sabata had coming out of the rework. Mainly because they didn't touch the overclocks, but the stuff they did to the mods, I think the explosive reload still benefited. Like, this is like probably one of my favourite builds at the moment. Dispersal compound, sludge everywhere, explosive reload within the tier 3 reaction with corrosion, and you just spray into the horde, just bang, 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 and then as soon as you run out of ammo, you reload, and they all just burst. and it's just really nice. It turns the embedded explosion into an actual explosion, which I think is pretty cool. It also does damage over time, which pairs well with corrosion and stuff, but that's not relevant to explosive reload. But that's my favourite build on Zabata. Probably the only build I actually enjoy using with the Zabata, as in definitely is. And so yeah, it's the shit. Good old explosive reload. Tranquilizer rounds, I don't like it. Screw tranquilizer rounds. Like, if I wanted slowdown effects or like enemy control, I would use my primaries, right? I think that's fair. I wouldn't want to turn my secondary, which is normally what you would then pair with the primary to kill things, to not do that, to not kill things. And I suppose you could pair it with like Ice Spear or whatever primary you're running that is supposed to kill things, Sludge Blast maybe. But even then, it's still not warranted. I don't get Harry's attraction towards this. It's the ass. Alright. EPC. Energy rerouting. I genuinely couldn't tell you what this does. I mean, I assume it helps. Like, I don't know. This is the boring one. This, I think I can tell. It just makes overheating less often. It's the ass, but if you struggle with overheating, that's fine. I think I should probably put Carl up, really. If I open a new page, does it take... Yeah, looks it. No. Alright, I won't do that then. Yeah, I'll just leave it suboptimal. The fact I don't know what it is doesn't mean... It means I clearly don't like it that much. But I also can't put it bad, because clearly I don't hate it that much either. Heat Pipe. Harry shits on Heat Pipe. I think it's a skill diff. It makes the weapon more efficient. It makes the weapon... I mean, it's slightly more difficult, obviously. But, I don't know. I slap Heat Pipe on my Flying Nightmare, which I pair with either the Cryo or the Sludge Pump to like set an entire amount of things on fire, be it puddles or glyphids, like frozen glyphids. Heat Pipe's done me pretty well through the entire time I played this game. I don't see what's wrong with it. It's not the best thing on the gun, because this thing is. Heavy hitter fire is definitely the best thing you're going to do with the EPC. Some people would say thin containment field, and whatever you would use with that is. I guess that would be coming up. But to be honest with you, shut up. Heavy hitter fire is always done the job. It always will do the job. It especially does the job against sniper turrets, which is a very annoying thing to deal with as a driller on a industrial sabotage. So heavy hitter, love heavy hitter, hate overcharger. Genuinely one of the worst overclocks in the game, and I don't know how they haven't like buffed it. No one likes overcharger. Name one person that likes overcharger. You can't. You don't. You know you don't. Your friends don't like it. We don't like it. Never heard an overcharger defender for a good reason. Don't know how that hasn't been like improved dramatically yet. Persistent plasma is not my thing, but it ain't bad. The mid. Like, I am aware this is regarded as one of the best things, if not the best thing, tied to heavy hitter at least. But nah. Like, it's like, it's kind of the same thing as tranquilizer rounds. It's like, if I wanted AoE area damage, I would be using my primary. Which I guess you would complement with that, but it's not exactly the easiest thing in the world to complement with. It's not the hardest either. You just have to get the thing to explode, and then it'll put persistent plasma all over the place. But it's not my cup of tea. Or it's not my type of plasma. But moving on from plasma, liquid cooling system. Same thing as that. If you struggle with overheating, it's fair enough. I agree that these things should be in the game. Don't need them though. But I think there should be those things for the people that struggle. Super's focus lens. I have never felt the benefit of. Probably because it's so minimal. Fuck super focus lens. And by that I mean make it better. just buff super focus lens, then it could be pretty cool. High risk, high reward gameplay. But for now, it's just still kind of high risk, but like no reward, so not great. Diffusion ray pierces. I like diffusion ray. It's not the best though. Probably suboptimal. I would say that describes it pretty well. Feels good, kind of, technically, but it really isn't much. You kind of need more from your wave cooker, or you don't need this much more. Is a bit of a oxymoron. Like, if you are temperature shocking or whatever you're doing with the thing, normally you would penetrate through them just by killing whichever one's front, like immediately. Like you would temperature shock, temperature shock, temperature shock. But with this, you would temperature shock them all three at the same time, but that really doesn't save you much, like time. And I guess it would save you ammo, but you probably would still be shooting anyway. It's not bad, but you can do better. E.g., like mega power supply, like easily. Like if you're doing the temperature shock build with mega power supply, you're playing the game on easy mode. Like genuinely, I think using the cryo cannon with like my build with either of these and mega power supply temperature shock is like playing the game with like neurotoxin payload on the Thunderhead, maybe before buff. I haven't actually really used it since they changed them, but it's just playing on easy mode. Like I sometimes struggle on Has 5. I don't do it fluidly. I can play it though, but with that I don't struggle at all. Like I can easily carry a like Has 5 lobby of 4 players with that. It's just easily overpowered, and it's thanks to the overwhelming ammo there and just the overwhelming ease of use here, and so yeah. Blistering necrosis. Realistically, it's here. I don't like it though. I don't like it. It's annoying. I do not like rolling the dice and then rolling the dice and then rolling the dice and then getting a blister go down and then that blister just gets popped by me trying to roll the dice more. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I finished shit on blister and necrosis, but I just don't like the RNG. And that carries over to gamma contamination, but I still think it's better. Plus, it's really, I think it's the best thing for the sludge pump. I like the AoE stacking effect, like, so it gets it up there, but it has the same weaknesses as blister and necrosis. I do not like the rolling the dice nature of these overclocks. Well, that was Driller. I think that looks right to me. Each of these are what my favourite ones of each weapon, which probably is how this is going to go. I'm not sure I have two favourites of a weapon, which leads me very nicely onto the Warthog, where I think this is the case. I really like Stunner. Like it's just really solid. I don't know what to say. Like I don't need much more from the Warthog, and what this provides is essentially it. Like an incredibly reliable stun, and if that thing is stunned and not dead, I then do more damage to it, so I'll probably kill it on my next shot. I don't see what's wrong with that. And for a clean, it's literally just it's free stun and free damage against stunned enemies. Like I don't know. I really like Stunner. Plus, obviously, the Warthog's not the only thing that does stun, so you can then clean up with like a stun grenade launcher, which was a build I really liked. It feels like it struggles quite a bit now though. But yeah, I like Stunner. What did I just do? I brought Face Melter up. Cheeky Face Melter. I have no strong. I'm not gonna use that. I mean, if given another ammo overclock, I'm just never gonna use this, like at all. Really, I don't see why I would. I barely knew it existed. In fact, downright didn't. I don't think. Pennant alignment is suboptimal. I think we'll go with suboptimal. It's once again one of those things where I'm fine with the Warthog the way that it is. I don't need it to have tighter spread. I don't have an issue with the tighter spread. Therefore, it's, you know, it's nothing I want on the gun. And therefore it's suboptimal really. Cycle overload. This is difficult. I think it's gonna go there. I don't need an automatic Warthog. In fact, I don't. Is that even automatic Warthog? It's not actually, is it? Because it's the tier 5 that makes it automatic. This just boosts the fire rate a ton. But I don't really need a fire rated Overhawk, and I think that mixes with the tier 5. You'd probably use both, because this essentially makes the Warthog into like a killing machine, which realistically it's not really a killing machine. It's meant to kill, but it's not like a minigun. It's not like da 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 da. Like, you're not constantly firing, constantly using that single weapon to do everything. Like, a huge horde of enemies are in front of you, and you're like, yes, I'm going to use the Warthog. No. As far as I can tell, that's not how you play Engineer. Not that I'm well versed in it, but you don't, like, you're more stunning things that get close with the Warthog. Switch to your breach cutter or grenade launcher or laser gun, and then just and they delete the horde, not the shotgun. So that's the way I see it, which also leans into kind of mini shells, because it gets rid of the stun, yeah, but it just increases the availability of the shotgun. Like, you'll just be able to use it for any little bit you need, kind of like all the time. Like, it pairs well with turret whip, obviously, because you're not really wasting ammo because you got so much extra. And like, I don't know, it just, I think it complements using the Warthog better than Cycle Overload does, by like a lot apparently, but I wouldn't say it goes that far. Stubby. Uh-oh. Oh, the Stubby. Stubby. Super slim rounds. Absolutely terrible. Can't. Like, this is the thing, is I genuinely cannot bring myself to use the Stubby as a whole, which I'm sure will be shown. Well-oiled machine. I probably not great either. I barely know what it does. You can normally guess, like, that probably, you know, adds ammo in the mag. This would increase fire rate. Probably something else as well. EM refire booster, I do know slightly better. I know it's regarded as probably one of the best things for it. I don't like it. Like, it's not much better at all, really. Like, I still find it incredibly miserable to use. Lightweight rounds, honestly, the closest I came to liking Stubby was with lightweight rounds. I basically went ammo, like, obviously I used this, and then I just had I just added like electric chance and like AoE electric, and then the rest I was trying to focus on like making the actual gun good, and that worked as far as I could tell. Like, solid electric output, but also the gun was actually good in of itself, and it lasted a while thanks to this, which is all things that is not normally the case with the Stubby. So yeah, that was the closest I got to stomaching the Stubby, and it's suboptimal. I genuinely, there's not going to be one in this shit. I do not like the Stubby at all. Electric arc, nah, it's the grass. I now have to scroll, which is annoying, inevitable but annoying. But yeah, it's the grass. Turret EM charge, also terrible. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, just so we're very clear on that. I'm not sorry, but I know that people are more than willing to say turret ox bad, but you are not allowed to say EM turret discharge or whatever. But it falls victim to the same thing. Why am I not shooting the glyphid? What's up with that? Why am I shooting a turret? Plus the stubby itself is worse. I know it gets a lot worse with that. I'm not actually sure the downsides of EM discharge, but I know I don't like them like at all. And obviously they're the unstables of the stubby, which really boded well, well not well, for my enjoyment of the stubby. And yeah, I genuinely least favourite weapon in the game. Weapon I think most needs a buff and like a rework. But they didn't seem to give him one. Moving on, we have the Loki. I'm going to go with an again, because I'm not fond of the Loki either. Eraser looks fine. I'm going to put it in the ass. I like the name Eraser. Wish it was used for something cooler than what looks like just mag increase. Might have been lock-on increase as well, knowing the gun, but not sure. This, I know Harry hates, and I agree with it. It literally was that they were trying to do something like interesting. They were trying to add the like turret interaction thing, I think it was, and then they failed, so they just added this. Or at least that's his theory, and as far as I'm concerned, he's right. Literally filler, like even more filler than cleans normally are. It's a filler clean. Chemical explosion, realistically, it's S. Like chemical explosion, I like using. I have it with chemical explosion and electricity, so anything that survives the explosion gets a little bit of tased in the balls. And yeah, I don't know. It's basically the only way I can stomach using the Loki. And actually, not just stomach, enjoy using the Loki is probably a fair thing to say. Seeker rounds, a complete lateral move. I don't feel any effect of using Seeker rounds at all. I don't feel any positives, nor do I feel any negatives either. I don't know. It feels like a waste of time, which I can't say for Executioner, which I will put in A, because as much as I still don't really like what it does, like technically, like it's not really what I would have wanted as for an engineered primary, but it ain't bad. It ain't bad. Yeah, but still, I'm not. And then Neuralasso fucking taking the piss. Went to fucking Neuralasso. Oh, that's funny. Unstable Neuralasso. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Silly ass thing. Like, if its effect was clean, I would still never use it. Just slow down on lock. Like, it is ridiculous, Neuralasso. Like, if there's something that me and Harry don't get, please tell us. But because maybe someone knows something that everyone else doesn't know that makes Neuralasso actually good. But as far as I can tell, it ain't. Which moves swiftly on to the engineer secondaries. Clean sweep. I like. Right, I need to get this right. Pack rat is terrible. Compact rounds is terrible. RG250 compound is mid. Just getting that out of the way. What everyone knows, never use those two when there's this. Got that over and done with. With that said and done, clean sweep. I like clean sweep. Like a lot, I would say. A amount a lot. It's what I used for the Stunner one, which is, I think, a pretty interesting thing. I have a build which uses 2 cleans, but just clean sweep with I mean, as much AoE as possible, stun and fire, because you have to use the fire mod with the goddamn grenade launcher, even RJ250 and even hyper propellant. You just have to use it; it's mandatory. But using that, and that's a pretty nice build. I think I realised that if that's not going to be in the shit, then nothing probably will be, because while I defend Fatboy against Harry's onslaught, I don't exactly like it that much either. Like, it's funny. That's about it. that's the be all end all, I think. And hyperpropellant, I do actually prefer slightly, but not by much. It's probably clean. You know what? I'm gonna bring clean sweep up. Good boy, clean sweep. You deserve it. You are not like the other kids. Yeah. I mean, the grenade launcher is not an amazing weapon. Like, not like technically, but like, just it's got 2 overclocks you should never use. Right? That's not great game design. Or weapon design, we'll go with. But moving on to what used to be, and for like most of, I still don't think I've recovered mentally from how broken the breach cutter was for like a solid amount of this game's history. But the breach cutter, lightweight cases, regarded as one of, if not the best thing for it, which is basically just because it is already so good at base that you don't really need much more, and I can't deny that. Like, it's more than fine. The default breach cutter, like, I could easily just use it for like hours, without any fancy stuff. This, I think, is a bit silly goofy. I'm gonna put it in suboptimal because I like it. Like, you do not need more damage. Like, you do not need more damage, but it gives it to you, and I've got to respect that. So there it goes nicely in the suboptimal category, but I like it. Kind of. I don't use it, but I like that it exists. It's a bit of a piss take. Now, okay, what? I don't know what these two are and what they're doing here. I'm going to ignore them for now. I can live with ignoring them until I figure out what they are. Return to Sender. I like Return to Sender quite a lot, actually. One of the best games I ever played as engineer, I had Return to Sender. And I would go as far as to say... Would I go as far as to say? I mean, I wouldn't want anything else on it. Honestly, yeah, Return to Sender is the shit for me. There is a cat attacking my hand. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that's a bigger sign than any that this is really just my opinions. Because, yeah, I mean, we'll use the example of Inferno, which Harry says is just undeniably the best. Well, not undeniably, people deny it, but like, it's just free shit tons of damage. I have no strong opinions on like, it's all like, it's fine. It's fine. It's the same with high voltage crossover, but like, I think it is slightly worse, in that, like, it probably won't kill the things that Inferno does, and I don't know, it's plus Spinning Death. I like Spinning Death, but it ain't good. Or I guess I like it more than it probably is strong, but that doesn't mean it's not strong, and it doesn't mean I don't like it, but it's just suboptimal, realistically. The buff didn't do that much. It did a good amount. It did a good amount. You know what? We're going to up because of the buff, but it's still not the best thing for it. I don't think anyone's claiming that. Not that anyone's claiming Return to Sender is, but I like Return to Sender. I think it keeps it more engaging, I would say. That's the main thing, I think, is why I like it. Like, the Breach Cutter is normally a shoot and forget kind of gun, but the Return to Sender is actually, like, pretty interesting. And I think if you want a more simple version of it, just go the full simple one and get more ammo. I think that's the way I see the Breach Cutter. But moving on, to the weapon, I really haven't used much, which might be a common theme with Gen 3 secondaries. Wave Cooker I use plenty, but everyone else is very little. Efficiency tweaks, I think this is the issue. I really need to. Oh, the feedback loop's there twice. I'm going to put that there. Efficiency tweaks, clearly it's just ammo. Well, I'm going to put it in the ass. I don't really know what it is, so we'll pretend that I do and put it in ass. I think that's a safe statement. If I don't know what it is, it's clearly terrible. That's a safe assumption. Automated beam controller, I think this is the one that makes it what it used to be. And I don't hate that. I do not hate that. Probably still suboptimal, but I don't hate it. Feedback loop, the actual one this time, is, I think that's the one that slowly increases AoE the longer you shoot. I think it's alright, but I've never felt it. I've never I don't even know what the AoE on the Shard refractor is. Like, there's no visual representation for it from what I can tell. And I've never noticed it, like killing a bunch of things in an area with the laser. I don't know. I don't get the AoE on the Shard refractor. Like, I just don't kind of understand it. There's no visual representation for it. It's just kind of there apparently. So, and it kind of, this kind of plays into that. So it's just not part of that gun that I get / like I feel like it could do with either the beam getting wider, which if it might, it's just because I never noticed it, or like some effect getting bigger around it, like some sparkles or like I don't know, some particles. But yeah, not a huge fan. Volatile impact reactor, that's the magma one. Harry loves this one. However, it's shooting at the floor. It's shooting at the floor. Why? You've got a fucking laser gun and now you're just shooting at the floor. In all fairness, actually, you're creating magma on the floor. That does go pretty hard. I will give it that. But still, come on. like it's the most boring way of using the gun. Plascrete catalyst is kind of the same thing, but worse because you can only shoot platforms, but also better because there's a huge explosion, but it's also really awkward. So I'm gonna go with ass as well. I don't know. It's a real pain in the ass to use to get like the same effect you would get if you just shot a single grenade launcher shot into that horde, essentially, as far as I'm aware. Like, I don't know, it seems to be a lot more effort than it's worth, more often than not. It's just a bit gimmicky. Like, oh, if I go through all these convoluted steps, it's like doing an Easter egg, not because the Easter egg is worth it, but because it feels like it should be after doing all those steps. It's like, if you're going through all those hoops to get this explosion to go off, you're placing the platform, you're shooting the platform, enemies need to be near the platform but not on it or else they'll get in the way, and then it explodes. It feels like it should be really, really worth it, and I really don't think it is after all that. It's like a mini satchel, I think, which in all fairness with the amount you can get off is solid, but it's a pain in the ass and I'm not doing it. I'm not sorry. Overdrive booster, I used for a very solid amount of time before realizing that it was an alternate firing mode, and I didn't hate it, especially when I did start using it. Harry is a meanie spleeny, and it can go up in this. I'm going to be kind and put it in A. I think it's definitely the thing I probably would prefer the most on the Shard refractor, because I think it's fair. I think Shard refractor by default is really, really solid. Or like default including mods, but then this is basically like, oh, I want you to die now even quicker, because that's how I see that weapon anyway. It's literally, no matter where they are, no matter what they are, you point the Shard refractor at them for long enough, they're dead, other than like dreadnoughts, I guess. And this does that but quicker, which I've got to give it respect for. And that is Engineer. Yeah. a little more oomph. I know Harry likes this. I know I don't hate it. I'm going to scroll up a little bit more and put it in not suboptimal, but probably the mid. It's nice. Base minigun is nice. The minigun is a very solidly made weapon. This, I think, I'll put with all the other ones that make overheating more manageable in the ass. They belong in the game. I don't use them. But yeah, so they're an ass. Burning Hell. Burning Hell, huh? Burning Hell. But here's the situation. Burning Hell is the shit. But it's not my shit. It's the piss. That is what I've like. It is incredibly good. It pairs well with, you know, volatile bullets. It gives the minigun really, really good AoE. Makes swarmers a non-issue, or any swarmer type enemy. It's incredibly strong. Pairs well with like 2 of the tier 5s as well. Like, it's solid, but I don't particularly enjoy using it. Like, I don't know. I'll tell you what, I actually will get to that, but a compact feed mechanism, is that that's not a thing here, is it? I swear to God, they're skill checking me with these like wrong ones. Have I missed a thingy? What is all these fucking notifications? I must have, right? Well, when in doubt. No, that's automated beat controller. This is just the Shard refractor with more ammo, I assume, and I just completely missed it because I'm actually retarded, which I have no opinions of. That can go there. Have fun. Back to the minigun. Exhaust vectoring is nothing. Like, I don't care for it in the slightest. Bullet hell. Now here's a spicy take. I love bullet hell. Genuinely. Yeah, you heard it here first, probably. The first person to motherfucker to say it. Bullet hell with stun and eventual heat tears into hordes. And I don't know, it's the most enjoyable way I find of using the minigun. And like, it pisses Harry off because he thinks it's terrible, but the numbers don't lie, Harry. I normally do pretty solid kill wise. So suck an egg. And for gunner and that's really a pretty good indication. Let's storm. Hate it. Alright, moving on. And I do intend to move on. I can't stand using Lead Storm. It gets me killed more often than I get kills. And so fuck that noise. Like, it's, yeah, skill diff. But also fuck you. Composite drums for the big guy. I'm gonna put it in suboptimal because it's not bad, but I don't know why you would use it, which I would say leverage quite well into splintering shells. Not bad, but come on. When there's carpet bomber, which I already liked when it was bad, and now that it's not bad, I like it probably about the same, to be honest. It's mid. Like, it's just the issue with AoE is that it requires more enemies to be useful, right? Like, the grenade launcher, if you use it against one enemy, it's probably one of the worst guns in the game. Use it against 100 enemies, and it's one of the best guns in the game, right? That's how AoE kind of plays its dice. And so specking into AoE with your... it's a risk. But Carpet Bomber is a pretty solid version of it. Like, shooting an enemy with you know, I'm going to bring it up. Shooting an enemy with carpet bomber, like a single enemy with carpet bomber, is not the end of the world. You have so much ammo. It does feel kind of like a waste that you probably will want to use your burr or pickaxe them or something. In fact, you should normally just pickaxe it if it's a single grunter zone anyway, power attack. But even with like 2 to 3 enemies, carpet bomber kind of feels like a waste still to me. Like, I don't know. It's hard to find a time where I feel like carpet bomber was like a good choice, especially since it really is a choice with like your other options. In the combat mobility, is really fun, like really fun, and I think I'll leave it at mid, because no, actually, no, fuck it. I'm putting a piss. Like, it is really fun and still useful. Like, max fire rate build, or like maybe not max fire rate, but like really high fire rate mixed with getting there faster, or just max fire rate with combat mobility. It's probably one of the most fun things you can do with the Thunderhead, which isn't saying much because the Thunderhead is not entirely fun. It's not like, it doesn't have tons of interesting mechanics. It's just kind of shoot. But I think it's the most fun way of shooting. Is just spraying with like absolutely unholy volley of giant like ammo at things, and also just like kind of running and jumping around like it's not much. With the only downside being the magazine decrease, which if it's not the only downside, it's the only downside that matters, and it is debilitating, but also you're less debilitated when you're shooting, so you're kind of just paying that later on, which I don't know. I find it fun. I find it good. Tough shit. If you think otherwise, you're factually wrong. I think that's how that works. Speaking of absolutely overpowered as hell, just get in there. Get in there, Big Bertha. You have no right to be able to do literally everything with ease. Overwhelming damage, overwhelming ammo. Hell, still has AoE. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, if I'm running Big Bertha, anything the game throws at me, I can probably deal with. Especially because of the way Gunner works. Like, I've got enough time in a shield to deal with essentially everything, especially if I've got Big Bertha. And I'll bring it up more later, but Big Bertha and Lead Spray is my Gunner. That's literally it. I do not do anything other than overwhelming damage, and that is what Big Bertha prides itself on. So yeah, I like my guns like I like my women, Big Bertha, and I don't like my guns like I like my neurotoxin payload. It's good. It's not. I can't put it in suboptimal, but it's boring as hell, man. It's so fucking boring. And they've nerfed it now, so it's probably not as overwhelmingly broken, but yeah, screw neurotoxin payload, but not really. It's fine. I think where it is now is really solid. I think they did a good job with it, because they only really needed to nerf the ammo, like, generally. It's just that you could literally start a deep dive, and this much we've confirmed. A deep dive you could do with a neurotoxin payload, and you could straight up not resupply the entire time and end, and you would still have, like, probably wouldn't have ammo, but you'd be good. You would not need a resupply. It was that overpowered. But now it might not be. Not too sure on that though. Alright. Oh wait. Okay, this is the other gun that I'm not a huge fan of. What's going on here? Alright, jet fuel, homebrew, and salvo module. Oh no, that's chain hit. Repeats. Overtuned feed mechanism. That doesn't sound right. I feel like we've already done that. There is one that's missing, right? The one that got changed. I don't give a rat's ass about this. I know Harry likes this. I don't care. I'm not a huge fan of the Hurricane. Just so we're clear on this. Plus, a bursting missiles got reworked pretty well, which means I don't hate it. I don't like. I mean, the issue is with the suboptimal one is it implies that I'm implying something, but it's probably mid. I think it's mid. It's a mid-ass thing. Mine layer system, yeah, that's gonna go in the grass chief. it's shooting at the floor. It's shooting at the floor ultimately. At the end of the day. All right, jet through homebrew. I didn't hate, but it's probably more. I'm gonna put it there. And salvo module. I wonder where salvo module is. It's the shit. I love salvo module. I don't like the hurricane. Like, all of that is so low down, but I love salvo module. like if I'm not using Big Bertha with that lead spray build, it's salvo module, and that's how that's going down. Especially since I'm not using the minigun one, so it's between those two, and that's how I enjoy playing Gunner. Really, I love the overwhelming damage of that provides, when you want it, and you can still use the gun semi-normally. It's a bit inconvenient. It becomes like a semi-automatic gun. You have to like tap fire it, but you can still do it. And I feel like I should rework one of these into being the new one, but also I've used the new one once and I didn't like it. So for the sake of visual clarity, I'm not going to do that, but just know that it would probably go in the grass. I didn't like it. And now the secondaries. Chain hit. It's not actually as bad as Sabata's chain hit, in all fairness. So it can go in the ass, unlike this chain hit. Although they are literally just chain hit. You genuinely cannot tell which one's which. like which ones I put where. But it is the Gunner Driller, or Sabata Bulldog. Homebrew Powder, I think it's not that bad. It's probably above. I think the Warthog is just generally like a slight tier above the Sabata in like all the ways. Feedback loop. No, that's not that's not the Bulldog. Volatile bullets. I mean, I'm gonna put it in the piss with the other one. Although, admittedly, that's basically the only way I would use the Bulldog. But it means using that. I'm not a huge fan of I'm not a huge fan of the build, but it's probably the best thing for it. 6-shooter. I would put I think it's the definition of suboptimal. Like, it's not bad, but it's not great. But it doesn't feel bad to use, but it doesn't feel amazing to use. Now, elephant rounds. Very mixed opinion there, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think they are both, or it is both, really nice and solid, and something I am virtually incapable of using because I've missed too much. The amount of damage I lose every time my incompetency kicks me in the ass. It's gonna have to be mid. With magic bullets, I find the interesting builds you can do with them, or the builds you can do with them, really interesting. It's like, I wish there was more stuff like that, where if you have to kind of figure it out, rifle through all the mods, rifle through the overclocks, and you discover like a really interesting different way of using the weapon. I wish more things had it. I don't like it, I don't use it, but I find it very interesting. So same as volatile bullets essentially. And yeah, the Bulldog is not a weapon I particularly have a favourite anything of. Which I can't say the same for this, but I can definitely we're just gonna I guess. All right, obviously ammo, damage. Um, it's it. Let's get this out of the way. Dog shit, absolute dog shit. Moving on. It has the finicky issue of why use these when there are these. Like, if you want ammo, this is giving you the most ammo. If you want damage, this is giving you the most damage. There's only like slight like things to it essentially. Like, this does really limit it close range, like, because it heavily tanks your spread. Like, lead spray heavily tanks your spread. Meanwhile, experimental rounds is like just more damage, which is why I think generally these ones, you're never gonna catch me using these, because like if I want ammo or damage, I'm gonna be picking either of these, where the balanced are essentially that with a very tiny downside that is not worth thinking about, or I go radically and there's a big downside, but this the price I pay. So I'm never using the clean ones, but as far as I can recall, I'm never using experimental rounds, and I'm never using compact mags, and this is kind of the situation with the Burt. But also, as mentioned earlier, lead spray is going pretty hard into the shit. I really like lead spray, and the Burt with it on it. And micro flechettes I used to find hilariously terrible. I now find hilariously solid. I really like micro flechettes. And that's the situation. I mean, realistically, I probably could raise some of the other ones, but I just never use any of these because I've got those two, and I like them a lot. So why would I bother with any of these when they would just be doing the same thing but worse? And then electromagnets can fuck off. It's terrible, and that's the situation there. Reatomizer, get rid of it. I guess I stand by that. It is worth mentioning, coil gun I don't use like at all. like I do not like the coil gun. I have not liked the coil gun. I will continue to probably not like the coil gun. And normally because of that, I basically always just ask Harry for like his builds if I ever like feel like trying it. And so the builds that I have on him is pretty solid, at least Harry would say, but I still don't like it. And I know Harry would fight. I think ultramagnetic cores was like his like baby essentially. He thinks it's one of the best fucking things that no one talks about. So I'm willing to put it above F, but I don't know. I guess it wasn't bad. I'll put it as mid, just to piss him off. His favourite thing's mid, but otherwise, I mean, backfeeding module. I have no idea what that even does. I've legitimately never used it, so I'm going to assume it's absolutely terrible. Or I can tell it gives you ammo, but I don't know. The mole, I think I've seen good things from it, but it's a real pain in the ass to set up, so still not great. Hellfire seems very simply good, like it's just face value good, which I'll give it like pass, like, or the piss. And triple tech chamber, I actually do quite like. I'm not sure I can put it in the shit, although it is the coil gun I use if I'm using the coil gun, but that doesn't really mean that I want to use the coil gun, so it goes there as well. But I like triple tech chambers. Give some electricity on that bad boy, and you've got yourself a fun weapon at the very least. And that is Gunner. I'm not very adventurous with Gunner, as you can probably have gathered. I just like doing shit tons of damage and then calling it a day. But here we are now on Scout. This is the GK, I would imagine. GK's compact ammo. Not using that. Gas rerouting. Probably not going to use that either. Homebrew powder. I don't see myself using that ever, like at all. That is difficult because I have used it and I've not liked it. So and obviously I think I have used all of these. All if something has 6 overclocks, all of the overclocks are there. Same with 5. If something has 7, then probably the most boring one is not going to be there. Like for example, I think the core gun has 7, and I'm not going to be using reatomizer on any of my guns. Like I have a build for every overclock if possible. So I will have a homebrew powder, like gas rerouting, GK, but it doesn't mean I ever want to use them like at all. Which can't be said for Bullets of Mercy. Bullets of Mercy got me through Scout for a good amount in the beginning. I think it's definitely nice. I have grown to dislike some other parts that aren't Bullets of Mercy, which has cost it quite heavily. Like I used to Cryo Mindlet Zukov's Bullets of Mercy, which is very solid, but now I can't stand using the Cryo Mindlets. Something just snapped in me, and I just find them extraordinarily annoying. And that's something probably being the crossbow, but I think it's good, but it's not it. It's definitely not it. Which I would not say for AI stability, which I do believe is it. AI stability is the fucking the shit. Working all the way up. This is getting pretty unwieldy. Love AI stability. Even though my accuracy is absolute dog ass, it is just nice, really fucking nice, and kind of what I'd want. I guess it's just what I want from a scout primary, essentially. Just kind of a weak point abusing, accurate, steady gun, and I don't know, it's really really solid. Plus, it gets rid of recoil, which fucks me over with the other ones, some more than others. And Electrifying Reload is actually quite solid. I respect Electrifying Reload, especially with my electric build. Actually, it's probably a lot higher than it might deserve, but Electrifying Reload is nice, very nice. Overclock, dog ass. Minimal clip, dog ass. Active stability system, slightly better than nothing. Hipster, god. Fuck. I feel like our opinions on the M1000 is known by now, but I'm willing to put it in mid, because people either think it's incredibly OP or absolutely terrible, and I'm of the thought that it's so OP that I don't ever want to use it, but also I can't stand using it anyway. Like it's just a crutch of an overclock, and it makes the weapon like significantly worse just by being there. Electronic focus shots, absolutely terrible. Supercooling chamber. The issue is that supercooling chamber is how I use the M1000. Doesn't mean it's good, but I only use the M1000 with supercooling chamber, and I only use supercooling chamber when I'm going up against something that would warrant supercooling chamber, like a dreadnought or the caretaker, that kind of thing. So whenever I use this thing, it's always come in handy and always been excessive and fun, very fun. So while it's not universally good, it's good when I use it, and so like you shouldn't be running supercooling chamber going into like your average Joe mission. you probably are not well off. Especially the way I build it. It might not actually be that bad if you're reasonable about it, but I focus purely into what this already specs into. So I do maximum weak point damage with maximum damage behind that as well. And so I'm doing essentially as much damage as I humanly can in a single shot of the like charged M1000. Essentially turning it into like a 50 cal sniper, which is cool. But yeah, it's more fun factor when I know it won't be a liability than it being generally good. But tough. I like it. Best M1000 thing you can do with it. Aggressive venting. I don't like aggressive venting. I know it's incredibly strong. 3 damage. But I do not like this mechanic. I don't know. Something about it just doesn't sit right with me, same as shooting the floor. So fuck aggressive venting. Sit in the bottom, never using it. This one, same as all the others, should be in the game. Not going to use it myself though. Impact deflection. Harry's always spouted that it's good. I've tried it and tried it and tried it, and I can't stand using it. Like it's not like anything as far as I'm concerned. It's like, plus you're supposed to shoot the floor, but I don't know. It's just awkward more than it's helpful, and that's not great. Which I would argue this plays the same game of being awkward, but I think it is more helpful than awkward. I like rewiring kit. I wish there was a simple ammo edition where it would give you less ammo, but you don't have to play the game that it wants you to. But I think this is interesting, and quite like it. And could be done for any of the other overheating weapons. That could be quite interesting. Overtune particle accelerator. That's just giga damage, I think, and I'd be liking that. I'd be liking that quite a lot. I'd be liking that a whole lot. Not that I'm a huge fan of the Drac, but when I'm using it, I'm probably using that or shield battery booster, or the thermal exhaust feedback as well. Actually, to be honest with you, the unstables for the Drac are pretty solid. I mean, the whole thing's pretty solid, but they're solid for what I like. Although it's kind of awkward, so it's not quite the shit. Same with the feedback fire one. I like doing it because you can then get fire and electric, and that's pretty rad, I think. So actually I'll leave it there. That feels right. But yeah. Compact shells. No. I think. Oh, wait, where? What's going on here? Special powder. That'll go there. Stuffed shells. I don't actually hate. Shaped. And now it's gone to this. Gas recycling. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So it doesn't have like any of the boomstick stuff. Unless these are it. This, I mean, these aren't it, but I'm gonna do stuffed shells first. It's fine. It's whatever. Shaped shells. I don't give a rat's shit about it. So there's double barrel, and there's the damage one. I'm gonna use this for double barrel, and I haven't actually used it as much as I want to because I really want to use it. I really like the new double barrel, which that's what that is. Would I? No, the boomstick is not something I have something in the shit for. And this is, let's go with the other, just the normal damage one. That can go like, I guess it's suboptimal now, really. Like going against the double barrel is kind of overpowered. But yeah. Minimal magazines, fuck right off. Customs casings, I'll put there. I don't like it, but you know, it's whatever. Cryo minelets. They'll go there. I used to love them, as mentioned, but like now that there's cryo bolts, there is a better and easier option to freeze. There's no good reason to put up with the inconvenience of cryo bolts, and so fuck out of here with that. Unless obviously you just want to use the Zukos for some reason, or you don't like the crossbow, but that's certainly not the case for me. And embedded detonators, it's like the Sabata. It's going all the way up in the world. Easy, amazing. Good old embedded detonators with gas recycling following pretty close behind. Harry does not like gas recycling. I am a gas recycling enjoyer, I think, is the way I'd put it. With like the electric damage boost on the Zukobs and throw an IFG down and have electrifying reload or something like that. Just spray into a horde, and I think it's pretty satisfying to use. Doesn't have the name, but I do actually know what this is. We're now on the crossbow. This is a quicker reload. Die in a hole. Die in a very, very septic hole. The specialist, I like quite a bit. It's not perfect, so I think I might leave it in mid, but it's very solid. Cryobolt, I would probably say the same thing. Maybe not. I think no. I'm gonna put Cryobolt in the Piz, but it is worth mentioning. I think Firebolt is gonna join him there. I think they're both the Piz. I think the issue is with the thingy, and is that I don't think any of them are my favourite, but not because I don't hate them all, but because they're all really solid picks. Other than that reload one, the specialist, both of those elemental bolts, Bodkin points is probably a weaker one. I'd actually leave Bodkin points here. Like it is actually maybe suboptimal. But otherwise, like, and I Trifort Volley I really like slap on that electrifying build. Boost electric damage, get that motherfucker in a Praetorian's ass, dead, dunzo, to the point where, realistically, yeah, Harry's not gonna like that, but that's the point of doing it while he's not here, or he is here, but while I've not got him here, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. I kind of rushed it near the end because I really didn't think it would take this long. I had no intentions of taking long, but I guess I forgot how many things there are. Yeah. These are all basically my favourite overclocks of each weapon. If a weapon's overclock is not on there, that means I really don't like that weapon. Then obviously the Pierce, which is like all really solid stuff. Probably stuff that is technically better than the stuff I put above, but I'm not as sold on it. The mid shit, which is still solid. You're not doing anything wrong there. Or at least I don't think you're doing anything wrong. No judgment coming from me. Suboptimal, I still really don't mind. Like I think that's completely fair. The ass, I'm gonna start looking you dead in the eyes and being like, come on, man. what you doing? What are you playing at? And then anything in the grass F is just stop it. Just stop it. Cut it out. You know what you're doing. You're out here fighting super focus lens. I'll beat the shit out of you. Don't be playing those games with me. You like super slim rounds my ass. You do. You're a fake person. You're not real. But obviously, I don't think anyone's fighting on those. But I assume I think I could see you fighting back on this, or if I actually can't see my mouse. Lead Storm, Ice Storm, probably the EM turret discharge. I can see people biting back on, but everything else I'm right. I'm right on all of them, but I could see people disagreeing with them. But no one's disagreeing Neuralasso. No one's disagreeing Overcharger. They're all terrible and everyone knows it, except Ghost Ship apparently. So thank you all for watching. This was longer than I hoped. Have a great day. I don't know what day that will be. I don't know when this is coming out. I think I'm going to try and sneak post it, post it without Harry noticing. The best way of doing that would probably be getting it out today, but Harry's probably got something planned, so might come out Wednesday, so tomorrow after I'm recording this. Have fun with whatever you're doing that probably isn't playing Deep Rock. Let's be realistic. In fact, if this is coming out Wednesday, you're probably playing Starfield. You might already have been, but you probably would be then. And that's definitely what I'll be doing for damn sure. That's why I'm basically getting this out of the way now, because I've been wanting to do it, but I know I wouldn't do it if I could play Starfield. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good one. Goodbye.